It's 18 degrees this morning in the old meat wagon. Last night, it had never happened to me before, but about an hour in, my butt was kind of cold, so I reached down between my Reflectix and my hammock, and I could feel condensation right there. It was wet, so I took that out, took that Reflectix out, and everything seemed to work good after that.
You're getting the food, Dad.
I came in last night after dark, so I didn't really have time to do any videos, but I went ahead and I got it all set up with the meat wagon. It's pretty cold. I mean, there's snow on the ground, so some of my friends, that's the cook shed back there. We're doing our winter camp for the year, and some of them are over in tents, and some of them are in. We even got one guy brought a camper, but the rest of us are pretty well primitive, at least non-heated, I'd say. I mean, I'm inside a trailer, so it's not exactly primitive completely, but the old meat wagon is roaring right along. So last night it got down to about 16. Curious as to see what it'll get down to tonight. Had to use my third top quilt last night, and then my toes still got cold for some reason. I don't know what the deal was, but I went ahead and used a second puffy jacket, and I zipped it up and pulled the arms inside it, and used it as an additional foot box to kind of pack that. It seemed like my foot boxes were a little bit wide. So we'll give you an update in the morning and see if I have a perfect night or if I have a few barriers again. Craig Johnson just made me a patty melt. He is the man. Rock?
Good shit.
Fantastic.
Here's a few of the other setups. This is my buddy's large setup. He does rendezvous and stuff, so he really likes it. There's 3 or 4 new people here this year, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger every year. I bet there's going to be 30 people here by the end of the time. One guy's trying out a camp trailer. We're in central southern Nebraska, and I would say there's probably 20% hot tents, and then the rest are not heated, hammock type stuff. There's lots of actual tents this year. So the weather's going to be a little bit warmer tonight. I think the low is 19, supposed to be.
There's some newbies over there with their raging fire. It's their first time. We called this is I think our 10th year. We named it Snowflake before Snowflake was an actual thing, term. So it's our winter camp out. We have a summer camp out. We call it No Flake.
I have to take my watch off to check the temperature because it just goes down. It's going down as we speak still. It's been sitting up there for probably 5 minutes. I don't really like it's a Pro Trek, and the sensor, when it gets too close to your skin, it just reads you and it doesn't read the outside. I had another pretty good night. Last night, my feet were much better than they were the night before. It's just an adjustment. Every camp out's different when it's this cold out. I didn't use the Reflectix at all last night, and it was just a nice, comfortable, easy night. This morning at the Snowflake event that I'm at, there's going to be fire challenges and seminars. I think at some point I've been asked to talk about shooting deer. There's going to be a beekeeping seminar. We're going to do the cooking contest tonight. But this camp out, a lot of my friends say that this is they've been to lots and lots of winter campouts everywhere, or just campouts in general, and the people at this Snowflake camp out here in southern Nebraska every January, he says nobody eats like you guys. It's crazy, and I'm sure there are other people that do it, but he's right, the food is good. Last night I couldn't figure out why my shoulder was hurting. It was just uncomfortable, and it never happened in a hammock before. And I realized I've got this little integrated sock right here on my hammock, and I had a cell phone battery bank in there. It was pressing on my shoulder, and finally it was on the outside of my hammock, but it was between my underquilts. And I figured out that that was the only variable it could be. I took it out, and it was like instant relief. So I was a dork for putting that in there. I won't ever do that again. But the meat wagons worked out just fine. I slept with the door open, simply because I don't need the difference between the door open and the door closed is pretty negligible. I think I'm gonna make some coffee here in the meat wagon. I haven't done that yet, but I don't feel like getting up because it's cold and I'm warm. It's a little 502 Coleman. They're pretty bulletproof. They take a little bit to get heated up. I had to move my little cooler. The tip froze. I had to move it over near here, and I even put a lighter under it for a minute. This little piece had frozen up right there. I use these little Folgers instant packs. They are disgusting, but they're better than no coffee on a camp out, and they're a whole lot easier than doing it another way. This little camp out used to be a little bit more survival based. There was lots of debris shelters and, you know, guys really doing some bushcrafty type stuff. And the core group of everybody, I don't know if it was they had proved to themselves or they had learned enough that they knew they didn't, they knew that they could do it, or they knew their equipment would handle it. So most people now, they still try out equipment, but they don't do it sleeping under a log. That little Coleman's just cranking away. That was my dad's old Coleman 502 stove. Probably too bright. He had that thing forever. That's what's nice about a Coleman stove or something like that. You can leave fuel in them for years and pump them up and start them. It's wild. In my video about my winter sleep system, I had mentioned that I'd never really used my top or third blanket. I must have been crazy because it's only 20 here, and I've slept down to the single digits last year at the same event, and there's no way that I did that with 2 blankets. There's absolutely no way. We're doing a survival kit exchange today. That's kind of something that I started, and it was just for people to use all that extra stuff that they had laying around from over the years, little fire kits and things like that. Looks like my coffee's ready to pour. It's crazy what a little coffee will do for you. I haven't unzipped my jacket. I'm getting all hot. My sleep setup, I'll go over it real quick, even though I've got a video up on it if you want to know all about it. But I've got 3 down throws. These are the really cheap ones. I DIY them, and I add these little snaps and things so that they all kind of stay together. But I've got 3 of those, and then I've got a puffy jacket stuffed in my foot box. And I made this hammock, and I've got 2 more black diamonds, and then a 1 tigress. It'll keep you warm, and it doesn't cost very much. I had to set my watch on the floor because it started getting warm in here when I turned that Coleman on. See the temp? There we go. 18.4 degrees. My buddy Brady's in the next, right outside the door. Brady, you want some coffee? good friend. He's had to sit here and listen to me gab for the last 30 minutes. The least I can do is offer him some coffee. Got her all warmed up.
So now it's 16 degrees. The condensation on my little bolts on the roof.
You're in the wrong spot, and that's people have trouble figuring that out. So if you put yourself in a position to hunt simple, but it's not, because as a general rule you're going to have wind or cover that won't allow you to do that. Your timber plot, they don't go in because all they have to do is walk up to that point and stand on the end and smell. They'll tell you everything that's in that whole area. They might walk a little bit of it. You're gonna mess with me. I'm trying to win.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Go!
What do we gotta do? Get our fire started and then what, Bob?
When you feel that it's good and confident that it's burning. Burning. Alright. Yeah. Well done. So we got 2 non-flinters. Yep. Right? Did you use flint?
Nope.
I didn't think so. I'm gonna cheat, I'll take the penalty. Do it over there. Do what you can, find a code. You melt that can to get it out of there.
I want to bear in mind, I have a sustaining fire.
Yes, you do. You do.
I cut mine open.
Thank you. There you go. I will add to it and I will bring it back next year for the next victor.